Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Madam Clerk. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Council members. Yes, I can. Where's the rest of the council members? All right. Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen, council members. Madam Clerk, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Roll call.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call for Municipal Council special meeting November 27, 2018 at 6:30 p.m. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Here.
Councilwoman Cotton. Councilman Jackson.
Present.
Councilman Kalik.
Present.
Councilman McCoy. Councilwoman Mims. Here. Councilman Rivera.
Here.
Councilman Velez. Madam President.
Present.
Yes.
Madam Clerk, can you please read the statement of compliance
Yes,
covering
ma'am.
this special meeting?
Yes, Madam President. Sorry. Meeting covered by 48-hour notice. Notice of the time, date, location, and agenda of this meeting was transmitted to the North Jersey Herald News, the Record, the Arabic Voice, the Italian Voice, the Passaic County Pulse, Dominicana News, Isqueiro International, El Especial, the Paterson Press, and the City Post News, in addition to any other publication duly requesting such notices. At or about 11 a.m. on November 21st, 2018, such notices were posted on the bulletin board in the offices of the city clerk at City Hall. Public notice. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, be advised that the Municipal Council of the City of Paterson has scheduled a special meeting for Tuesday, November 27, 2018 at 6:30 p.m. to be held in the council chambers, 155 Market Street, 3rd floor, City Hall, Paterson, New Jersey, for the purpose of discussing the following matters. Public portion. Item number 1, introduction of the budget, and resolution authorizing the reading of the fiscal year 2019 municipal budget by title only, and the introduction of the fiscal year 2019 municipal budget. Finance Resolution 18617, formal action will be taken. Madam President.
Thank you very much. Before we have the public portion in the reading of the first resolution, I'd like to once again congratulate and ask that Councilman Abdelaziz be sworn in. It'll take a few minutes. So council members, do you all agree that we should have our councilman be sworn in? Just making sure. I know he wanted me to ask. So at this time, I'd like to call the Honorable Judge Abdelhadi to come, and Councilman Abdelaziz? No, he's going to do it up here. Yes, she has it. Yes, we're going to... Yes, okay, so let's have the missus and mom and dad come forward. I don't know, Mr. Hector Abdelaziz, would you like to join us too? I don't know, should we sit? I mean, we're giving it back to him. Do you want us to stand? Do you want us all to stand? Stand. Which one? Should we? I think we should stand. Okay, council members, I'd like us to stand and join our councilman.
We don't want to turn our back to the...
Right.
One stay.
May you please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Alad Abdulaziz,
I, Ala Abdulaziz,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear
and that I will bear
true faith
true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I do further
I do further
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will
that I will
impartially
impartially
and justly
and justly
perform
perform
all the duties of the office of
all the duties of the office of
6th Ward Councilman
6th Ward Councilman
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Why don't you sign first before we just give Father his wife put John on.
Yeah, council members, we can. Thank you, everyone. Councilman Abdelaziz, would you like to say a few words before we begin?
Yes, thank you, Council President. Before we begin our very important meeting that we have today, I just want to thank everyone that's out here today that is here for our swearing in on such short notice. And as I stated in the last council meeting, I just want to thank the residents of the 6th Ward that put their confidence in me on Election Day. And I'm going to work day in and day out to make sure that we deliver good government for the people and the residents of the 6th Ward. I want to thank my family that's all here today, my beautiful wife. Can't forget her for what we went through this election, and now the work starts, and I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and hit the ground running as we did. And like I said last meeting, I really want to thank my council colleagues because you guys had faith in me in July. And I hope I didn't let you down. The voters spoke, not as unanimous as the council, but close, you know. So I look forward to working with the administration, Mayor. Thank you for your support, and as a constituent, I look forward. You're one of my constituents, I'm one of your constituents, so let's work together and make sure we deliver the results that the residents of the 6th Ward deserve. And absolutely, we're going to make it stronger than ever now. So thank you, Madam President, and thank you everyone that came today.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, can you please read the first item on the agenda?
Yes, Madam President. Would you like to begin with the public portion first? Public portion.
Okay. The public portion is now open on item number 1. Madam Clerk, let me know how many speakers.
I'll tell you in a minute, please. Madam President, I'm pleased to announce there is no speaker on the public portion for tonight.
Do I have a motion?
I said it well.
See, no one, move to close.
Okay, move to close by Councilman Kalik, second by Councilwoman Cotton and Councilwoman Mims. Roll call to close the public portion on item number 1.
Roll call to close the public portion on the special meeting. Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Jackson,
Yes.
Councilman Kalik,
Yes.
Councilman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims,
Yes.
Councilman Rivera,
Yes.
Madam President.
Yes.
The vote is 6 in favor. No, 7 in favor, 2 absent. Public portion is hereby closed. Continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Can you please read the first
Yes.
item on the agenda?
Yes, Madam President. Next item on the agenda is item number 1, resolution. Resolution authorizing the reading of the fiscal year 2019 municipal budget by title only and the introduction of the fiscal year 2019 municipal budget. Finance Resolution 18617. Is there a motion?
Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion on the floor for item number 1?
So moved.
Second.
Hold up. Who won this side first? Councilman Velez, moved by Councilman Velez and second by Councilwoman Cotton. Discussion?
Let me see.
Does anyone have anything?
Yeah, I just have one question.
Okay, discussion.
Okay, so a discussion. Through the chair to the business administrator, is there any reason why we doing the introduction and the reading and introduction at the same time?
Sorry?
Any particular reason?
Councilman, can you repeat the question, please?
Is there any reason we're doing the reading and the introduction at the same time?
We have to take action today.
Well, we're supposed to be not getting adopted today, no?
This is not an adoption, this is an
Okay.
introduced budget.
All right,
So it needs to be read
All right.
and put on record, and we're voting on the introduced, not the adopted.
That's why I want to put on the floor this introduction.
I'm sorry, I'm not the BA, but,
Yeah,
okay.
that's all.
Roll call, Madam Clerk, on item number 1.
Roll call on item number 1 for adoption of
Not
the-
adoption, introduced.
Approving the fiscal 2019 municipal budget by title and the introduction of the fiscal year municipal budget. Councilman Abdelaziz.
Before I vote, I just want to thank the administration for showing us the contingency plan that's put in place that will show us that we have a plan in place that we're cutting spending and we're really tightening our belt and trying to bring the services that the residents deserve. To keep this brief, you heard my explanation 2 weeks ago. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Cotton.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I would just like to say that this is the introduction of the budget. I was able to come downstairs and look through some of the items that we needed to look through. My only concern is that we still must put in place for the following year what we're going to do to get out of our deficit and how we're going to be able to move forward without putting any more tax increase on the taxpayers. I know that down in the Leagues of Cities Convention, I met quite a few people, and one of them was one of the persons that helped Newark in their situation. And I want to say to the mayor, I would like for you to give him a call to bring him on board. I think that he's already working with Mr. Michael Powell, our economic director, and I can say that at the convention this year, at the Leagues of Cities, I met quite a few people, and I intend to share all of that with you guys, with you, Mayor, and the BA, on how they can help us to at least get stable to what we need to do. We need this budget to be introduced to go along with our application, and it's a must that we do that. So I just want to say we need to look at the following year, how we're going to put things in place that we do not put the burden on the taxpayers. that we have something that we can be stable with, and so that's what we need. So my vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'll try to be as brief as possible, Council President. Since we don't have a presentation and we plan to get out early, I'm sure you'll allow me some additional minutes. It's a very challenging time, Mr. Mayor, Mr. BA. I think that, we're all optimistic. I think that this council is definitely looking forward to, some new additions that bring some incredible nuances to the council. And I'd like to identify and kind of give myself credit, if you will, Jay, for at least being consistent. I'm not here to be in opposition. I'm here to be consistent. I'm here to be a consistent fighter on behalf of Paterson people. I think that I was happy to see some of the presentation that the administration had brought forward. I think, even with some of the challenges that we have some things to look forward to, some optimism to look forward to. But I really want to stress my position, Mr. Mayor, and that is making sure that as we look to move Paterson forward, and it's coincidental that Councilwoman Cotton referenced the person she mentioned, and if it's the person that I believe she's talking about, he is a Patersonian, and he made a tremendous impact on moving the city of Newark forward, and it just re-emphasizes some of the things that I talked about and how much talent we have in this community. The talent that's on this dais, that's each and every one of us here, and the talent that's in this administration. And I'm looking forward to a time where we can really, when we can pass this benefit on to our community members, on to the taxpayers. The taxpayers have been bearing the burden for a great deal of time, and personally, I believe it's because of the amount of leakage, if you will, and it's the amount of money that's leaving our community, the resources that's leaving our community. I'm standing firm on the fact that we need to make sure that Paterson is a bigger recipient of the benefits, and I think that we all will see that benefit. So I do see some of those, some of that optimism reflected in what has been presented. I am looking forward for the administration to answer some of those questions, as in some recent new hires and ongoing practices. I think that those items, as isolated as they may seem, they're all relative. They're relative to what our taxpayers are being burdened with. So, with that being said, and trying to be brief, I don't want to be the roadblock. I don't want to be the speed bump, if you will, on Mr. Donald Lynch's block. But I also want to make sure that we're not speeding and putting the lives of our community and taxpayers at a jeopardy. So at this time, I'm going to render my support to this budget because I want to give the mayor and the administration an opportunity to be successful and to prove that those relationships that we've rallied behind and celebrated are true and real, no pun intended, to the city of Paterson. So I'm going to give that opportunity and watch things unfold. And at this moment, Madam Clerk, I'll be in support. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Khalid?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mayor, Mr. BA, I have seen the contingency plan. I hope that I didn't have to see it. It's just a plan. We are anticipating $40 million transitional aid. We don't even know how much we're going to get. It's a big gamble. We are gambling with taxpayer money. We're gambling with people's lives. My vote is no.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman McCoy?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, Council President, council members.
Clearly, tonight is a very important night in the life of our city and the process that we undertake and our responsibility. And I want to say that I take that very, very seriously. As someone that has sit at this desk for a very long time, I understand fully what this means to our city and to our community as we move forward to introduce our budget. This was presented to us prior and did not receive my full support. And I think I articulated that back then as to whether I think we needed to do something going forward. The job that I have here is not to worry about Bill McCoy individually, but my responsibility as a council person, my responsibility to the city and to the community that we serve. I don't shirk away from difficult tasks. I don't duck and hide. I make sure that I face it heads on. I must tell you that I was a little bit shaken with the notion of Bill McCoy being solely responsible for tax increases in the last 14 years. But after I went home, I thought about that. I said, that's not my style. Your style is to call it as you see it and to deal with the reality of the day. And the reality is, as I've explained often, and Councilman Abdelaziz took a page out of my book, in explaining that a part of our application for transitional aid requires that we ensure that we have some skin in the game. This budget does include a 2% tax increase. It's not something that we take lightly, but it's a necessity for where we are fiscally in this community. We're fiscally challenged. We're making a request for a significant increase in our transitional aid. I will not use the word gamble, but I will use the word ask. We're doing a very difficult ask, and I've met with the mayor and the administration a number of times since our last meeting, and whereas they have presented some contingency plans, those plans include a significant amount of pain. So, you know, do I cut one leg off, or do I cut a finger off, or do I cut a arm off? Those are significant deficits. So I come to you recognizing that Paterson, our budget, in order for us to move forward, in order for us to improve our condition as a plan that we have going forward, we do need the support of the governor and the state government in granting to us this ask, this request of the $40 million in transitional aid to plug our budget. And I believe if we're given that opportunity, with a team that we have, we can move forward in building a situation where we're less reliant on transitional aid and give us an opportunity to grow our economy and our tax base to the point that we can sustain ourselves moving forward. So I'm here tonight to say to the mayor and the community that this is not about the individual, but it's about us collectively. And from where I sit, I think we are poised for growth and development, but we have to give this kernel that we're putting in the ground an opportunity to grow and to develop. So I'm giving my full support to this introduced budget, and I don't want anybody to be misunderstood. This is still a very challenging and difficult budget. This is a very critical situation. The patient is still needing critical care in order to move forward. But in order for us to do what we need to do at this time to make sure that our application is considered by the state, we have to do an introduced budget. I think the mayor and the team has done a great job. in presenting the budget and identifying the areas of need. And tonight, I'm giving that full support. Like Councilman Jackson, I'm hopeful and optimistic that the bonds and the relationships that have been formed will in fact yield for us a benefit during this term, and that we'll be granted this opportunity to move our city forward without causing the kind of irreparable harm that we saw with the layoffs of police officers in the past that has really set us back in our developmental process. So I'm hopeful that the administration's case to the governor and to the state will be of such that they would recognize where we are, that we're poised for growth, we're poised to move forward, and all we're asking for is a little bit of assistance in priming the pump and getting our engine moving down the road. So, Madam President, my vote is yes, in favor of the introduced budget.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims?
And so before going into vote, I just want to make or reiterate some of the requests that I've made previously that I have not received. There's 3 things that I've requested, and it may be something that requires more work or more time that I haven't seen. The contingency plan was amazing, but I wanted to see the structural deficit that we have for the city. I've also requested the top 5 drivers of the budget, which I still have yet to receive, and the short and long-term financial plan for this city. What is the plan for us to eventually come off of transitional aid, in addition to the contingency plan that was presented? So since we're in a season and a time of Thanksgiving, let me give some thanks to the mayor, to the BA, for putting together a contingency plan to identify if we're not in a position to receive the $40 million, what would it look like, what are some steps, what are some measures that we would like to take to ensure that, as painstaking as it is, what are some of those measures and what do they look like, and how do we collaborate to get it done on a local level, state, federal, and through the governor's office. So I want to commend you on that. I also have to especially thank Marge and Lydia and Kathleen. As a new council person, I think it's very important. I don't care how much skill set you have, how much expertise you have, and educational background you have. I think it's very important to come into the office, and I've sat in the office and have been on the phone for hours with each of you going over the budget line by line, tooth and nail, to identify some factors that are in the budget. What does it mean? How does it affect us? Opportunity costs, anticipated costs. So I really appreciate the time that you gave to me as someone new coming into this role to ensure that I was educated, enlightened, and empowered to effectively be a part of this process. So I commend Marge, Kathleen, and Lydia. Thank you so much for that. Also, I want to commend the process that took place with the budget hearings, the process that took place with the budget, and sometimes a loss is not a loss, but a loss is a win when we can come back and bounce back and make sure that it's in the best interest of the community and our people. And so I want to say, I think we're in a step in the right direction. Do we still have a lot of steps to take to get through the door? Absolutely. But I believe that we're moving to a place, and there is an anticipation in the atmosphere for a better Paterson. I think Paterson, its best days lie ahead. I think this budget, as we continue to work on it, and we get help across the lines from the governor's office and throughout different areas, through grant writing and different things, I think that this city has not seen the best that lies ahead. So in anticipation of that, I'm in agreement with the plan that was presented. I'm praying that we have plans that will be more streamlined. And so tonight, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Rivera?
Good evening, everyone. Excuse my voice, I'm a little under the weather, but I had to be here for this vote tonight. Mr. Mayor, you're going to appreciate what I'm about to say, given that you are a history professor. I often said, in the many years that you see me here at the council, where you was a council member, that an introduced budget should reflect what your adopted budget should look like. And I still believe that. And that's why I couldn't support this budget the previous time. And I also learned from previous mistakes that were made here and the council, the stayers. Something that was never asked before. Introduced budgets were approved in the past, and they were approved, and the term that was used or the justification to approve those was that it was just an introduced budget. It's not just an introduced budget, it's a plan. A budget is not just dollars and cents. It's a plan, the plan that this administration have put in place to provide the services to our constituents in the city. So learning from those mistakes, I asked, and some of our colleagues did the same, we asked for a contingency plan because we couldn't let the decision made by the state dictate the outcome of what was going to happen with our taxpayers and our services in this city. So we wanted to know what the plan was in case something didn't happen. And I commend the administration for including us, the council, in this process, something that was not done in the previous introduction. And if we continue to work this way in years to come, we shouldn't have a problem working together because we all have the same goal to make sure that the city's in a better position and that the city moves forward. That being said, I'm going to continue to reiterate during my 4 years here that the city needs to do things different in order to change. And I always have this conversation with the BA, and you understand and you agree. We have to look at our sewer operation to make sure that the burden is not just going to the taxpayers and the homeowners, that the burden is being spread out to the tax-exempt properties. And, I'm not going to go into detail. You know what the tax-exempt properties are. But something's got to be done differently. Those measures are taken all the time by other municipalities. Clifton did it. Other municipalities have done it. But we tend not to do things for whatever reason, and we need to change that mindset. We need to do things different in order for things to change. We also need to explore the shared services agreements that we have. We have some shared services agreements that are very old that might no longer be benefiting us, and we need to look at those. We need to enforce ordinances, and I don't want to prolong this, but I just want to put it on the record that I'm approving this, Mr. Mayor, but I want these things to be looked at, and I'm sure my colleagues may agree with the same. Ordinances need to be enforced in this city in order to improve quality of life and at the same time generate additional revenues, taking the burden of the taxpayers. Yesterday I came off a flight, just so you know, I returned from the Dominican Republic yesterday, very tired. But I received a text from the mayor, which I appreciate. He told me, the administration wanted to present something to us. And I made sure I was there present in order to give them the benefit. And my vote is yes tonight on this introduced budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Velez?
Yeah, you go, Plum. Yeah, please. Thank you, Madam Clerk. I was making some notes here, and even that is not changing my mind, but I just want to keep something clear that this haven't changed at all. While we've been discussing for months since we are having a hearing for budget and for the budget, and that what we discussed in the last meeting have not changed. It's the same thing that is presented. This could be done probably the last meeting, but one thing has been included in this process, and I commend the administration in doing that, is that they created a bridge of communication between the council and the administration, going back and forth, explaining individual what's going on with the budget, where we at, and where we going, and what's going to happen if we don't accept it or not, or we at least introduce it or vote on it. So I understood the budget since way back, and I know that a lot of us understood that, but we have done this practice before. Another administration in the past have presented a worse budget that did not represent and not deliver what the constituents of the city wants. But now we have a new mayor that more than 4,000 plus individual on top of the number that came in election have confidence that we're going to move this city forward. Today, in a press conference that we had about education and the grants coming in, one of the reporters in the Spanish channel asked me what I think. And I said, education starts from home, but Passaic County Community College has the opportunity to advance that education. The moving forward this city starts with this administration. This body needs to be on board to move forward this city. And that is part of the communication that we want and we request from the administration. They have delivered that. I'm well satisfied that our position will receive that service and that and those changes that they want in this city. So once again, I know that a lot of people are going to say that we are probably a rubber stamp. No, we are looking where we was, where we at, and where we want to see this city in the future with me in this seat or not in this seat. But one thing I got to say, that my decision, I make it independent without a lot of lobbying, but because the conscience that I sit here and I read and I do what I have to do when I'm here and not sleep like other people say. So my vote is yes. My vote is yes. And my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Madam President.
So before I vote, it's unfortunate that I have to correct Councilman Velez. It's just unfortunate, but I have to put it on the record as he is putting on the record something that is not necessarily true. Yes, the document, the introduced budget that is being presented to us today is the same document. The difference is we are not able to not only understand what the plan is if we do not receive the 40 million, and that was not displayed to us, that was not given to us. So we asked the administration to do that. What if we do not receive the additional 13 million? You know what that means? It's an additional 8% increase, plus the 2% already, 10%. We need to be able to communicate with the community to let them know what's going to go on. We didn't have that plan. So you're wrong when you say this is the same document, we could have already done this. No, we have a commitment to the community. We were chosen, we were voted in to make tough decisions. And yes, it was tough to vote it down, Mayor. I didn't want to do that to you. I didn't want the comments of, oh, this is political, or as some will say, the lobbying the votes. This is not about that. This is that we have a group of 9 people here that have to respond to the people who put us here. And we are tired of being told that it is the council that increases taxes, and it is not. This is the mayor's plan, this is the mayor's budget, and we have to make sure that we can tell the community this is what's coming up. Mayor, I commend you. I commend you for yesterday. I took a ride with the mayor to Trenton. Yes, he has relationships, and so do I. I saw him working that room, and you know what? He is fighting for Paterson. So I got to give you props here in front of everyone. The greatest thing was that he took his council president with him. So I made him more powerful. So, because we have to understand the power of the council. But moving forward and on a serious note, okay, this is not to put any council member on blast, because every council member has to vote their conscience. Every council member does not have the same issues in their wards. Okay, the 3 at large, which I am one, Councilwoman Mims and Flavio, it is a little more difficult because when you have to do the entire city, you're getting it from all angles, okay? And so we asked the mayor to do something. Our finance chair, you know, he really headed this. And Mr. B.A., thank you, and Kathleen, I don't see her here, but I want to just give her a special thanks. because, you know, her delivery and presentation, you know, was something that at least I needed, okay? And there were various scenarios shown to us. And so seeing that there is a contingency plan and being hopeful, that I think it's so important that we have to work collectively. I want to just say, Mayor, that I am going to vote yes on this introduced budget, because right now, it is the right thing to do. We may have in jeopardy, you know, and I'm going to be, and put it on record, I don't think we are going to get the 40, but I do know that we're going to get additional. And so I've seen the plan, and I don't want to see one of the plans that was introduced, because it may cause many of us some heartache and headaches and so forth. And at the end of the day, it's about our safety, it's about clean streets, it's about putting Paterson back where it should be. So, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes, and thank you to all.
Thank you, Madam President.
Mayor?
Yes, Council President.
No,
Wait,
Mayor,
you're gonna call it.
I should-
You're
yeah,
gonna call
May I announce?
Okay.
It was
The
a
vote
false
is-
start on her part, not mine.
Don't mind my.
The vote is 8
Not
in favor.
encroachment.
The vote is 8 in favor,
You like
1
that.
against. Introduction of the budget is hereby adopted. Public hearing. The public hearing on the introduced budget will be held at the next regular meeting, January 15, 2019, at 8 p.m.
Move to close?
But may I just
I'm
say something
I'm
before we
sorry,
close,
man.
please?
We're not
wanna-
gonna take that motion yet.
I want to lavish praise upon the
I'm going to allow.
governing body.
Mayor,
Yes, thank you. To the members of the council, the 8 members who gave us your vote of confidence tonight, I want to express our profound gratitude. And Councilman McCoy, Councilwoman Mims, I want to juxtapose some of the comments you made. And Councilman Jackson, I believe Paterson, and I'm cautiously optimistic, I believe Paterson is on the brink of blossoming. It just makes logical sense that we would be the next frontier. And when you say we're fighting for Paterson, we're trying to position Paterson appropriately so that we let people know we are open for investment, that there are opportunities. Councilman McCoy, we have the opportunity with Leader Dye, and tonight the Economic Development Committee is going to meet on that matter because we're taking it that seriously. In the 5th Ward, we have the Armory. The 4th Ward, we have a whole host of projects. The 1st Ward with the Great Falls Project, and downtown, what we're trying to do as far as transit-oriented housing is concerned, and leveraging opportunity zones and making the most of those tax credits. We're not going to squander these opportunities, but we're a team. I talked about one Paterson, we're one team. And yesterday, you're right, Council President, you and I did go down in Trenton, but we're going to go back to Trenton. And this time, we're going to fight for that $40 million because we have an 8-to-1 vote. We're going to waive that in front of the DCA and in front of the governor if we have to. And we're going to let the governor know, he stated it time and time again, this goes Paterson, so goes the state. And so the push for Paterson continues. Thank you again.
Move to close.
thank you very much.
Move to close?
Motion to close?
Move to close?
Council President,
Second.
if Joe Malanconico wears that sweater again, he should be banned from entering the chambers.
I can't see the sweater.
Maybe
What
we could
does-
auction
what
it
does
off on
say?
Thursday.
What does the sweater say?
Move to close?
Move to
Second.
close, oh God, I see. Move to close the special meeting by Councilman Abdelaziz and second by Councilman Kalik and Councilwoman Mims. Roll call to close the special meeting.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call to close the special meeting of November 27, 2018. Councilman Abdelaziz,
Yes.
Nope.
Councilwoman Cotton.
I'm sorry, Councilman. I'm sorry, Councilman, but I have something to say. Please. I know what you was trying to do. I just would like to say to my council colleague here, Al Albalese, that I just want to say congratulations on your election, on what you call it, re-election. What is happy, and I can truly say that Before he became a councilman, he was a community person, coming into my ward in the 4th Ward, helping me out. So you're going to make an excellent council person. You got 8 of us up here, and I always say it's about working together to make sure that we get everything done. And I just want to say to your family and to you, we're all here to help. I believe my role as a council person here too is to help you to be good, to become a good council person. And that's what we need to strive for each and every one of us. So I just want to say congratulations. I just want to make 2 comments. I'm having my meeting for Van Houten Street tomorrow, Wednesday, at St. Paul's Church at 7 o'clock. On Thursday, I have my monthly meeting for the SEPTEP environment, which is going to be Thursday, November 29th at Crossroads at 511 East 22nd Street. But on Friday, it's a great day that's getting ready to happen for us in the city of Paterson in the 4th Ward. We're going to have the tree planting ceremony for the Martin Luther King, Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Park. And I can say 50 years ago, I was a little girl standing on Governor Street when he came to our city. This was his last stop before he was assassinated. We have finally been able, with a whole bunch of partners working with us, to get this project off the ground, to make sure that that area where he came 50 years ago, that it be preserved. And I said to the mayor today, I can imagine, and I may not be here when it happened, but let me tell you something. There are going to be some charter buses coming through Governor Street looking to stop to see where the last stop that Dr. Martin Luther King spoke before he was assassinated. So if you're available on Friday morning at 9 o'clock on the corner of Governor Street and Auburn Street, it's going to be tree planting ceremony, and this is just the start for us. It's the start for the 4th Ward. I got 50 homes coming in my 4th Ward under Habitat. My ward is changing, and I'm saying to my community, it is changing. So I hope you can come out on Friday morning to celebrate with us and the mayor for this great ceremony that's getting ready to take place in our city, and to all my partners that are partnering with me with this program, with this particular item that we get ready to go for. So, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Jackson?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I would also like to extend my deepest congratulations to Councilman Abdelaziz. Yeah, exactly, Councilman. It's time for him to get to work. He's been celebrating for 4 or 5 weeks already. And Councilwoman Cotton just said clearly, for you to become a good councilman, we'll all help you get to that point. But no, I mean, it's a pleasure already working with you and helping in some of the things that I've been striving to accomplish for the past 2 years, and now having a team to ally it with. I think we're going to make a lot of things happen. Not to damper a celebratory moment, so I'm happy to have given my support. I'm very optimistic, but I am, Mr. Mayor, my stripes never change. I remain consistent, and I'm going to consistently advocate for those people in our community. I'm hoping to have an answer as quickly as possible, or the community's hoping to have an answer on some of the things that Councilman Rivera talked about. And, you know, this council is not just here for these brief moments in support of certain things and to move a certain way. I think that it's definitely a cohesion that's necessary. This council writes and subscribes legislation for a reason. And to have that legislation disregarded is a disappointment. So I'm happy to have rendered my support, but understand, and please hear me clearly, that as long as the authority of this council is being consistently disregarded, those days will be numbered. And lastly, you know, I had an opportunity to meet with a lifelong family friend. We hadn't seen each other in many years, and why, I don't know. We're both very close here, and I think a lot of people know the family. It's the family that owns the McDonald's franchise in the city of Paterson. And he, you know, as a fellow business person, he had an opportunity. They celebrated a family member's birthday at my establishment this Sunday for Sunday brunch, and we had a moment to, you know, sit and talk about some things. And, you know, it's very challenging, not only for residents but for businesses in our community. And here you have a franchise that's been in the city for over 30 years that has supported thousands and thousands of initiatives, from youth sports to educational outings. Whenever they're asked to support something, they've done so. From when Mr. Henderson owned it to now Mr. Harrison and his wife. They continue to do great things in our community. And the disappointment was that his taxes went from being $4,000 to $5,000 a year to well over $20,000 a year at the Broadway location. And he also talked about how the introduction of the hotspot ordinance has further diminished his business, so to the point where he was doing $1,700 to $2,000 a night to doing $300 a night. So we have to consider and take into consideration the concerns of the council and be able to work cohesively on all of the other items that we believe in as well, because I think that the council members here do not have a unique view. We may have a slightly different view, but I think all of us have the same intentions to make sure that we move our city forward. So with that being said, I wanted to place those two items on record. I'm hoping that we'll have a resolve very soon, Mr. Mayor, and this individual that was hired against the ordinance of residency policy. I'm still very much so holding hard on that, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that renders. As I had definitely rendered my support, I'm hoping that our community is receiving the same type of support that we are asking for them to give us. So with that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Councilman McCoy? Councilwoman Mims?
Before I vote, I just want to send support and congratulations to our Silk City Cardinals, our 9-year-old, 11 years old, 12, and 13-year-old. Our young students are going to the Nationals, and we're really excited about that. So on tomorrow night, we will be having a special surprise dinner for them and their coaches at the bonfire from 6 to 8. I want to again extend my open invitation to all of our council members at no cost to come by just to say hey to the kids and wish them well. And then on Friday, our Nifty Lions, I want to congratulate our Nifty Lions, who are also going to the Nationals. They will be taking the bus, so we'll be going to the bus at about 6:30-ish just to welcome and see them off and make sure they have some food as well. So congratulations, Silk City Cardinals. I'll see you tomorrow night. Nifty Lions, I'll see you on Friday. Congratulations, go down to Florida and bring back the win for Paterson. Thank you so much. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Rivera?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Before I vote, you know, I'm used to get corrected by a female. My wife does that a lot. Council President, if you are the viewer out there, we don't have a fight. We just have a healthy conversation sometimes, and people probably could misunderstood what we're trying to say. If you go to this tape and you review the tape, what I said is the same thing that you say in different language, different ways. It's the same thing, that I was commending the administration, that this budget have not changed, but they added communication. They added a new bridge, and that's what make our decision stronger. And you know, I accept your correction, but it's almost the same thing but different words. My wife does that, and when I replay the tape, she says, it's true, I say the same thing that you say, and we get to agreement. That's a good thing. Now,
Why do you do that and I have the last say? Councilman, why do you do that? And I have the last say, huh?
That's okay, because my wife had the last say too at home. So I don't have no problem with that. But one of the things, simple things, make change in the city of Paterson. If you notice, this administration, even us saving in this next 5 years, $25,000, because we just acquired a new tree that is not gonna put burden on taxpayers. $25,000 in 5 years, because that tree is good, is a permanent one, and it's gonna be back and forth, and is a new tree. That's cost saving for the city. All right? Because the other trees was natural, they spent $4,000 or $5,000 to decorate and et cetera. Only that one cost us less than $5,000. And it's us, it's property of the city. So I commend you for that beautiful tree. It's gonna be lit on Saturday, okay? It's not the height that everybody wanted now, but it's a nice, beautiful tree. But something important, when last week we was in Atlantic City, we was in a municipal league, and an important meeting was canceled. It was a meeting with the Attorney General, and it's gonna be this next Thursday at the new Roberto Clemente School with the Attorney General at 6 o'clock, 6:30, and then it's gonna be transferred to 7:30 to Hana. He's busy over there, my Arabic guy, okay? And it's gonna be in that school after the new Roberto Clemente. The 28th, Thursday, 29th Thursday at the new Roberto Clemente School. And last but not least, Councilman, I apologize I came in late. I thought we were gonna have a long night. That's why I came late. But I miss your, I miss your swearing.
Just vote yes. It'll be.
No, it's like, we could have, then my wife is not gonna believe that I got out late. Come on, you guys have to understand. I'm just kidding. Listen, God bless you. I'm a happy camper. They don't like it. I'm an independent, happy man, okay? God bless, you love me, right? You love me. God bless you. Have a nice holidays, and let's pray each other. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Madam President.
See, I don't know why Councilman Velez always does this, and I have the last say. Anyway, I'm not gonna address you. I have already addressed you enough. Before I vote, you know, I know we've been saying congratulations a lot to Councilman Abdelaziz, but truly now you were elected by the people of the 6th Ward, and it was a big win, and so we appreciate all that you bring and all that great energy, but do remember that you are still the rookie in the room, okay? On this day, so, you know, we have a dean, if you have, you know, some questions, all right, we have an advocate here, you know, you have your sister over here, you get it, right? No, but on another note.
I got it.
Congratulations. Before I vote, there are two things that I'd like to mention. One is that, and I know that Councilman Jackson did not mention it, but there's going to be a tax lien sale on Thursday. And, you know, the community always calls us and we want to be part of it. What's the process? What's the process? What's the process? And so Councilman Jackson asked for support, and there's a community leader who also is involved in putting forth a pre-auction workshop, seminar, conversation. What's the process, all right? We're not misleading anyone. We want to put the facts on the books, and we welcome. We've had a numerous amount of people call us that want to come in to listen to what is going to be said tomorrow, and that's going to be here in the council. The conference room on the 4th floor. But Mayor, it may get big, so I don't know. I may have to move the planning board upstairs since their meeting may not be big, and maybe, you know, I mean, this is our chambers, right? Your board, our chambers, you know? So we'll have that discussion. But on a serious note, I think it's important that we continue to educate our community. When you talk about that we want to, you know, sell all our properties to developers, that's not true. So let's stop spewing lies. Let's talk about if we want to sit at the table, this is what we need to do. And so I commend you, Councilman Jackson, as well as Casey Melvin, that I know he's been, even since last year, he's been trying to do this, and I think it's going to be a great conversation to have. So I look forward to having, anyone that wants to join us, our Economic Development Director. I know that he said he would come, and again, anyone else, and Marge, I would just appreciate, you being there as well. It's going to be from 6:30 to 9, and it's going to be held here.
And Council President,
In the
yeah,
the fly, did it say council chambers? No, it said conference room,
Council President,
conference.
the number that they're being calling is being the tax office, so to call
I
upstairs.
think that was probably a
Mistake.
miss, because it was supposed to be Councilman Jackson's personal secretary. So I don't know what happened there, but with that said, this is not to attack our tax department. I know that they received numerous calls about that. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that this Friday, we are having the Lebanese flag raising at 4 o'clock. And any council member that is able to make it, we did get notified by one of the community leaders and the person who is planning on putting a nice program for us, and that's going to be here at 4 o'clock in it's going to be in the council chambers, or we will have further discussion. And, we're going to have Depka, so, I'm excited about it because I'm going to be dancing Depka on Friday at 4 o'clock. But with that all said, thank you all council members for agreeing to this special meeting. At this time now, this meeting is now over. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Madam President. The vote is 9 in favor, none against. Special meeting is hereby adjourned. Good night, everyone. Thank you.